Look at this train. This is New Delhi Rapid Rail Transit System, which is supposed to connect the city of New Delhi and Meerut with semi-high-speed train on a dedicated elevator corridor. Why is this important? Because for the first time in history of Indian railways, trains have achieved the ability to go over 160 kilometers or 100 miles per hour, and this sight is becoming more and more common. Welcome to NRI Bhakt, and I'm Yash. Today I'm going to talk about the Herculean task that has been undertaken by the government of India to upgrade infrastructure for 1.4 billion people. And these infrastructure upgrades can be divided into three major categories: roads, railways, and power generation capacity. We all know that in order to expedite a country's progress, we need to have a scalable and robust infrastructure. Here's what the ex-president of the richest country in the world said about the road infrastructure in his country. Here's a quote from none other than JFK. "It is not our wealth that built our roads, but it is our roads that built our wealth. The quality of roads are very important to speed track our economic development, and hence we are seeing an astounding increase in road networks in India." The government of India started Bharatmala in 2017, which translates to India's garland, and it is an ecosystem that is built to build our road infrastructure. Under this scheme, 34,800 kilometers of highways are to be constructed by 2027. Bharatmala Phase 1 will increase the national highway connection to 80% of districts by 2027, which was 42% at the end of 2017. Additionally, a network of 48,877 kilometers is to be constructed in Phase 2. India's current highway network is 145,155 kilometers as of March 2023, which used to be 97,830 kilometers in 2014, which is a 50% increase in only 9 years. Also, India recently surpassed China to become the second largest road network in the world, trailed only by USA. The US is the largest road network in the world, and its interstate system is a highly sophisticated network of access-controlled freeways. And India is trying to replicate a similar feat by building its own network of access-controlled expressways. The US has a total of 78,465 kilometers of interstate, but it is also 3 times the size of India. So in order to achieve the same highway density, we'll need to build at least 25,000 kilometers of an interstate network. Currently, we only have 4,700 kilometers of expressways, which may seem less right now, but 9 years ago, we had about 1,100 kilometers, which means that we have more than quadrupled our capacity. And it is estimated that we'll build another 8,950 kilometers by the end of 2026. But building expressways is not going to help everyone. It is estimated that only 8% of Indian households own a car. For everybody else, they just have to use public transport. Which brings us to trains. And which brings us back to this. India has been ramping up its rail network at a very fast pace and laying down new tracks to the remote parts of country that were previously unconnected. And a great example of this is the Chenab Railway Bridge. Built in the Himalayan mountain range, this bridge spans the Chenab River at the height of 359 meters or 1,178 feet above the river, making it the world's highest rail bridge. This bridge is an engineering marvel. It can withstand temperature to as low as minus 20 degrees Celsius, and it is expected that the structure will be able to withstand earthquake of magnitude 8 and up to 40 kg of TNT blast, since it is a terrorist-prone area. And since we're talking about this, we have to talk about the Indian Railways flagship project, the Vande Bharat Express train. These trains are the first of its kind attempt to modernize Indian railways at par with European standards. The trains that look like this will now look like this. With a top speed of 180 km per hour or 111 miles per hour, this train is an attempt to connect all the parts of India with a semi-high-speed rail network. The locomotives are connected to the coaches by a distributed power system, which means that each coach has its own power supply. This allows the train to operate at higher speed and with a greater load than traditional trains. It also has something called as the regenerative braking system, which feeds the power back in the supply system when brakes are applied. It makes the train more efficient and uses 30% less power as a green initiative. Talking about the green initiative, as of April 1, 2023, Indian Railways has achieved a milestone by accomplishing a total electrification of 58,812 kilometers, which is 90% of total rail network. It is higher than the developed countries like Japan, Germany, and South Korea. There is also great work being done by building an intra-city network of metro system. The cities connected with metro lines went up from 5 in 2014 to 20 in 2022. Another fun fact, India just surpassed Japan to become 4th longest subway network. But none of this comes even close to the development that's been happening between the city of Mumbai and Ahmedabad. The Mumbai-Ahmedabad high-speed rail project, or the bullet train project, will be the first high-speed rail in India. With a top speed of 350 km per hour, the high-speed train will cover the 508 km distance between Mumbai and Ahmedabad in less than 3 hours. But all of this development increases the need for power drastically, and in order to counter that, India has also been working very hard at increasing its power generation capacity. For the first time ever, India has become a power surplus country instead of power deficit country with net exports. The average supply in rural areas has increased from 12.5 hours a day to 20.5 hours a day. And total energy capacity has increased from 245,000 in 2012 to 416,000 in 2023, which is a 70% increase. And a lot of this increase is actually coming from renewables, which is in line with our climate goals. We have actually overachieved our commitment made at COP21 Paris Summit by meeting 40% of our power capacity by non-fossil fuels almost 9 years ahead of schedule. There is a huge section of desert in western India, and we have learned how to make the most of it. Sprawling over the area of 14,000 acres, this is the Bhadla Solar Park. That has positioned itself as the biggest solar plant in the world with a capacity of 2,245 megawatts. The installed solar energy capacity for India has increased almost 25 times in the last 9 years and stands at 67 gigawatts as of July 2023. In fact, when you search top 10 solar plants in the world, you see 4 of those actually located in India. India's installed non-fossil fuel capacity has increased 400% in the last 9 years and stands at almost 180 gigawatts, about 43% of country's total capacity as of July 2023. So, what is the point of this video? The point is, in order to fuel our growth and become a manufacturing giant, we need to increase the speed and scale of our infrastructure growth. We will have to build the biggest, highest, largest pieces of infrastructure to become a 10 trillion economy in the next decade. We need to fix the infrastructure bottleneck that has been holding us back for decades in order to go full throttle. Just like growth in our physical infrastructure, there's also been growth in India's soft power in the last decade. I have noticed a huge cultural revival and growth in national pride. I will be talking about this in the next video. But meanwhile, please feel free to share this video with anyone who believes and wants to invest in India's growth story. Thank you and goodbye.